And you were originally penciled in to win the title at the tournament. Did they notify you about that, or did you find out about it later?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it. I mean, yeah, we originally the thought was, that I would go in whatever way, as that character.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I buy my way to it or somehow, win the tournament, and then if I'd have done that, then like every other heel, I would have had my run with Hogan, and then that would have been it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, step down a couple notches on the food chain and wait till the next thing to come along.
Right.
But I believe it was a conversation I had with again Pat Patterson, and he said to me, he said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." He said, "What would put greater heat on you if we go and at WrestleMania have the tournament and in any underhanded way you win the title,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, I mean, it's kind of like that's been done, that's what Hogan's done."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Or, you don't win the title,
Mm-hmm.
and as a result of not winning the title and getting your way, you create your own title. Basically, you just thumb your nose at the World Championship and say, you know what, I don't need that belt.
Yeah.
I'll create my own championship belt. Here it is, and parade around with this thing, and and you have, it's like you have your own championship match every night.
Yeah.
Declaring yourself the $1 million champion." And I said, "That's the ticket. That will just make people boil."
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And so, I've been asked many times, do you regret never having been the world champion? And I said, I kind of laugh. I said, well, the business is a work. It's like, so none of those guys are ever really the world wrestling champion. It's
Right.
the titles are props in this business. That's what it is. And yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have held the belt. And obviously, if you're somebody who is good enough to be in that position, then obviously it's recognized. And yeah, that would have been great. But in the long run,
Mm-hmm.
what did Ted DiBiase more good? It was doing the creation of the old belt, the $1 million belt. So
Yeah.
I would have liked to have been champion, but no. Do I lose sleep over it at night? No, not at all.
Yeah. I'd spoken to a Honky Tonk Man recently, and he was saying that him not dropping the Intercontinental title to Randy Savage also played a factor in that, because
That's true.
yeah.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to drop the Intercontinental title to Savage,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of like I guess they wanted everybody to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Honky Tonk Man wanted to drop the Intercontinental belt to Savage, what can we do? And I really think that what they did was the best thing they could have possibly done for business, because it was unique, it was different. It took Randy and overnight he went from this heel who abused his wife to a babyface.
Right.
And so then everybody was covered.
Yeah. And so there wasn't any animosity there between you or Honky Tonk Man over it, or?
No, God, no.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is, I don't know, and people have said this about me that, I could have been, even higher up the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
If so instead of wanting to always do what was best for me,
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to do what was best for business.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Right. And you guys definitely did. I mean, you and Randy had that feud that summer, and I think that was the first big feud that was selling out house shows that didn't involve Hulk Hogan.
That's correct.
And what was it like working with Randy during that period?
It was great. Randy and I had great matches.
Mm-hmm.
It was. Well, it was one. People got so excited that actually one of the times Virgil tried to climb up on the outside of the cage, a fan jumped the barricade and climbed up the cage too to try to get him down. So,
Yeah.
it was pretty hot.
Yeah.